Hey guys, it's EW926 here, and this will be the start of my presentation on the why organized religion is detrimental to society. My friends and I talked about this a little while back, and I thought I would make a YouTube video series, a short one on this topic eventually, and so here it is. Relatively recently, my best friend, who was an atheist, and I had a religious debate. I am a deist, and so, we had some similarities, but obviously, we differed on whether or not we believe the universe was supremely created. However, one thing that we both agreed on is that deism and atheism are, just, kind of, philosophical standpoint on, where the universe came from and, why, sort of why we're here. It doesn't really get too much into that, specifically other than the fact, evolution and, rational arguments and things like that. And if you look at, throughout history, organized religion has been quite a problem for society at large because we've had all those massacres, organized by the Catholic Church, and you don't really have to go too far. You can look this up on your own. I'll even provide a link, or some links to these events throughout history. And all it really is one group of people, typically, well, from back in the Middle Ages, was predominantly the Catholics, and Protestants participated too, but primarily it was the Catholic Church from since its founding, at around 0 A.D., to about 1500. Things were not the Catholic Church didn't have much success in the moral. It didn't have much success. It was not very moral at all. So basically, we have the Catholics primarily, or we have the other group of people, people who aren't Catholic, people who disagree with them, with the establishment, and they were persecuted. In the massacres, we have one opinion versus the other. However, the opinion of the more powerful institution, the church, is sanctioned these massacres and killed these people. So even though the Bible is, specifically against killing people, especially for no good reason, these guys pretty much went out and slaughtered everyone. Who didn't agree with them, and this wasn't even always about massacres. This was just about chastising and constantly abusing and I should say judging the rest of the people who disagreed with them. And if we really look back at why religion was founded, it was basically used to explain things we could not explain. Because our ancestors, back thousands of years ago, they didn't understand why the sun was there, and where exactly why we're here, where we came from, why things work the way they do, why there's rain, and they had ancient mythologies, with rain, sun gods, moon gods, things along that line. They use religion to explain things they did not understand, and eventually, that evolved into our more contemporary religions, Christianity, and then of course Judaism. Well, Judaism came before, and Christianity, and then of course we have Islam, which is also a detriment. It's also contributing to this to the deaths of many innocent people. We've had terrorists, 9/11. Muslim. I shouldn't say all Muslims. I should say the extremists. However, as long as the organized religions exist, there will always be some people who are extremists and innocent people getting killed because of it. We have different opinions, and really we don't know. And I really don't have a problem with people believing in or any of the organized religious systems. Just rather that when they assume they're right, and they they think they have the right to judge anyone who does not agree with them, because they think that their book is the divinely inspired word of God, which doesn't really make sense, because if you think about it, well, if you guys have ever read The Age of Reason by Thomas Paine, I have not read it entirely myself, but I have I have an idea of what it's about. I have read the summary somewhere online, thought it was interesting. But anyway, so basically what he argues is, if there's a revelation, why did it occur only to one person? Why does it not occur to everyone else? So basically, what he's saying is the organized religions are going on hearsay, which is one person saying and other people believing him, then it's spreading and spreading and spreading until eventually a good portion of the population believes this. And he also said in one of the sentences in the book, he said, I don't have to be inclined to believe that if it's just evidence based on hearsay. However, with that said, because I'm a deist, I believe that the universe was created because we have a lot of order. The DNA our DNA, and DNA, through other organisms is very well ordered. I mean, we can constantly, reproduce, and the DNA, folds and unfolds and has all these, sequences, and it just varies. It varies, well, somewhat drastically. Um, Depending on how different our twins have very similar DNA, but I may have very different DNA from someone else. But the point is the DNA works, and we all generally function as human beings, and the same for other animals. Mice, rats, and all other animals. They have their DNA, which constantly replicates. It seems to it's that in and of itself, I think, was a main reason why I believe in intelligent design, but also because we have other, our universe and our Earth is, so it's just in the right location from the sun. If it was, a couple, I would say a couple 100 miles closer, it would be too hot, and if it was a couple of miles, 100 miles far away, it would be too cold. And this is obviously this is no proof, but it seems to suggest that there is some kind of design going on here, because you what computers and other devices, we design them. We know they did not design themselves, and we also, well, I shouldn't say all, we also know, but it's generally assumed that most things don't just come out of nowhere. Of course, this is not necessarily a definitive proof for God, obviously, because it's just as the belief. But basically, that explains deism. And let's see, if we look at our founding fathers of the United States, they were primarily deists. Thomas Jefferson was one. Thomas Paine, as like I said, is a prompt deist. And so when people say the founding fathers were all Christian, that is completely false. That is not true. Um, they believed in a God, but not the Christian God. They will say the Catholic. What has been the fruits? What have been the fruits of Christianity? Said one of the founding fathers. I can't remember the name though. So basically, as long as we have organized religion, we're always going to have some group of people who are going to be taking it to the extreme, and they're going to be plenty of innocent people killed because of it. And it really never had to happen, because instead of going on hearsay, why don't we just take a step back and try to think what exactly happened? It just, to me, doesn't make much sense why people follow it. But the point is, if there as long as it's an organized religion, there's going to be people who are extremists. People don't really like to do too much thinking, and or maybe overthink it, and think that they have to kill people because, well, sorry, I shouldn't say that, they kill people for their God. That's what I meant to say. And it's just ridiculous. We have plenty of stuff going on right now. It's just, well, even in not necessarily killings, but just persecution, and almost, I should say, moral persecution. For example, atheists are frequently treated by the Christian community as scum, or people who are are just going to go to hell and things like that. And it seems like there's a good chunk of Christians who are very much dislike atheism, and that is not something, I don't understand why it has to be just because your beliefs are different. But anyways, that's just my opinion. So that is the video on why I think organized religion, part one, is detrimental to society. See you guys in the next video.